All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Paradigm Playbooks podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kozak, alongside I guess I'm not alongside my co-host today. He's in a different state altogether, but Steve Cook.
Yeah, it's been said I'm kind of always in a different state, but this time I'm physically in a different state. I'm in Orlando, Florida. In fact, I'm going on stage in 2 hours. Speaking on marketing at the United States Swim School Association National Conference. It's been an exciting time down here. It's fun.
Yeah. So obviously, guest speaker, right?
Yes.
Coming in to educate in this particular instance on marketing for a bunch of owners of franchises, or how's the setup, and who are you talking to?
The members of USSSA are primarily entrepreneurs in the swim school world.
Okay.
So they own anywhere from one to multiple swim schools. And some are running a school from a backyard pool. Others have multiple pools within a location. The most popular kind of setup right now, as you're seeing with some of the large franchisors, are the zero entry pools that start teaching swimming at literally at birth, at a year old. So in fact, I think, didn't you have your kids go through a school program? Okay. So I find them people with tremendous passion. I mean, they feel like they're saving lives every day, which is pretty powerful passion. But they have the same struggles and challenges of any other entrepreneur. And you and I have talked about this forever, Dave. It's like getting around to sales and marketing when you're in the sports business is usually something that's foreign to most entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So I guess the idea here is you're going to go in and help them sort of look at it from a different lens, or give them a vision of what they could or should do, or what's the big rub that they're having that they want you to speak to?
Well, so the rub is marketing in general, and whether you're marketing for more customers, more children, more parents to enroll their kids, more employees, more sales, more groups, whatever it is, it takes a marketing effort to go out and get them. With all the marketing presentations that I do, I usually start with, like everything we do, Dave, it starts with a book, and this one starts with why. So Simon Sinek's book is a good place to start. Knowing your why, you're in it. Well, these people have that zeroed down. They know their why. They're there to prevent drowning.
Mm-hmm.
So the challenge is a little bit different here in that, and when I sit down with them, and they're very passionate about this, we're preventing drowning. But I tell them that living in suburban Philadelphia, when people walk out of their house in the morning, preventing my kid from drowning is not on the top of my mind. There's 100 things that we're thinking about with our kids, and drown prevention is not one of them. So how do you bring that to the surface, or do you?
So no pun intended there.
Yeah, that was bad. I shouldn't have said that. So Niall may edit that. I don't know.
No, it's all good.
So what I try to do is have them look at it from a lens of all the other things, from too much screen time to obesity to junk food to lack of engagement to less physical education. All those things are problems that are going on and that are on parents' minds. So one, do we talk about this, or do we sell in a different way? So the phrase that I keep coming up with is sell them what they want and then deliver what they need. So, if you can sell them the fun of being in the water, the fun of the splash, the making bubbles, all those things, and in the interim, they learn to swim, then their lives are better because of it. Um, so
So it doesn't, arguably, it doesn't change the mission of preventing drowning. It presents it in a way that, is attractive beyond the safety. It's attractive because it's not just about safety, although at the core of it, right, their intent is to prevent drowning.
yeah, I mean, that's definitely what the focus of the association is, and all they do. But you have to get to different things in different ways. And because you have a focus on one thing, when you're in any sport child development, it doesn't absolve you of the rest of the problems. So if in the course of what you're doing, you get, an 8-year-old to spend less time on their iPad, or you get, if you get kids hooked on movement in general, that helps in um, in preventing obesity later in life. All those things are positives you're getting out of it, and it's okay to market to any one of those things. So the marketing, again, to go back to a book, I love the one-page marketing plan. And I think for entrepreneurs in our world, Dave, whether it's gymnastic club, dance, martial arts, whatever it is, that one page basically takes them through what they need to do. And there's a tendency to follow the leaders, the big people, the Disneys, the Apples, and say, I'm going to get my name out there and all. Well, in an entrepreneurial world, you can't afford that. You don't have the time or the money to do brand marketing. So I'm trying to get them to zero in and be specific about what their message is, what their target audience is. And I don't think you can go for the whole target audience with every message. And then what the vehicle is. Are you going to deliver that through Facebook, or for a flyer, or, a sign outside a billboard, yard signs? However you're going to do it, you've got to figure out how to deliver that message. And, if you're going to deliver a message that, we've mastered how to solve the diaper problem in a pool, that's not the message you want to send to 8-year-olds, because they don't want to be in that pool. So they don't want to hear about that. Yeah. So I think it's important. And I don't know, you tell me, can we make this case for any sport? If we're teaching in baseball that we're going to get your kids to make contact, then making like the 13-year-old all-star doesn't want that lesson.
No.
They want to know how to drive the ball, how to hit it over the fence, or whatever. So all the one pagers, then that was a book by Alan Dibb, and he just puts it, it's a 9-square chart that you write up your plan for everything you want to market, but you can sit down in an hour and do a marketing plan. And that's what I'm trying to get them to do.
Yeah. And I think, the way you present it it's not different than a large corporation or a business that has multiple people in this effort. The reality is what you're really trying to teach them is the segmentation and the direct marketing to that segmentation. So if you're going to market to mothers of newborns, different message than mothers of 8-year-olds or fathers of 8-year-olds. The same way in baseball, if you're going to market to 3 and 4-year-olds, maybe contact is it. Maybe hitting a moving ball is the target that would make someone feel satisfied. But if you're marketing to that 13 or 14-year-old, it's driving the ball, teaching them how to hit the opposite side, teaching them how to, have a better stance at the plate, or a ability to read pitches as they come out of the pitcher's hand. So you're really segmenting it. And it's not different than, when you look at Nike and you have Nike focused on female athletes, or you have Nike focused on getting behind a particular athlete. It's picking the segments that they're trying to go after and nailing it. And so what I think the 1-minute marketing, or the 1-page marketing plan does is it forces you to identify exactly who you're targeting. And that gives you the ability to then set the goal to work backwards to what is a success, right? And begin with the end in mind, and every
Yeah.
aspect comes back to Stephen Covey, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I want to fill out 5, mommy and me classes, let's say, and just so everyone on the line knows that it's not a sexist comment, because I, Dave Kozak, did mommy and me classes with all 4 of my children every Thursday morning. The idea is that's just the kind of the naming convention that exists. How do you hit them where they are? And how do you pick that segment and speak directly to that segment? That one page should define that for you. Then you change the model. I want to go to kids that are 6 and over that don't know how to swim or don't know how to do proper strokes. Got to look differently at that one, right?
Know someone who could benefit from our business expertise? Send them our way. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. And it goes from overcoming fear to how can you have more fun in the water, to how can you learn technique in the water, to maybe how can you swim competitively, or so there's all ways you can go. So the 1-page marketing plan, they also drill it down. So the 3 levels are, before, during, and after. So it's, the beginning part is trying to make people aware of you. So that's
Yep.
that would be your prospecting marketing. That's to get people to notice you. The second column is during. That's when you're engaged with them and you're managing all that data, and you need a data recovery system, and you need, a constant contact or some way of delivering emails. So that's the during phase. And then the after phase, which I think is often overlooked, and we did this on our customer experience podcast we
Yeah.
talked about, but customer experience requires marketing to the customers you already have, whether you're marketing for them to engage in another phase of your business. You get them to come to swim classes. Now you need them to buy swim goggles. So that's or you need them to re-sign up for the next lesson, or you need them to join another. There's a lot of swim and gym programs. So you get them in swim. Now, how do you get those customers? And the marketing gurus will tell you it's a lot cheaper to expand the experience of an existing customer rather than to go out and get a new one is more expensive.
Yeah, and that's the client acquisition cost, which can be steep, versus the client retention cost, which may be nothing other than send an email with a link to sign up, because they already want to do it. They're already on the journey. And so, that's the acres of diamonds that we talk about in mining your database.
Yeah.
One of the huge lessons in marketing has always been those that come across your company may not engage at that moment, but they expressed interest at some point. And it is far easier to get an interested party to engage than it is a disinterested party to find to take a disinterested party and make them interested, right? And it's not different, than what I do in my company, right? I'm in a constant battle of getting new clients, retaining the clients I have, and getting referrals from the clients I have based on a success metric that, they're willing to go out and support us. So I love it. I think it's all, and I think a lot of times, Steve, people craft marketing plans that are overwhelming and comprehensive, and it becomes something that you can't execute on, right? The key to a good marketing plan is you can execute. You can go out and do it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all sure. When he says 1-page marketing, I mean, it's literally one page, one side of one page. We're not flipping this page over.
Yeah.
Written there. Here's our message. Here's our target audience. Here's who it's going to. And in the kids activity business, that market could be one elementary school. I'm just going to focus on the families in this one elementary school. And at that point, then you can personalize the message and say, attention all Wildcats or
Yeah.
all, so you can personalize it and kind of pull them in a little bit faster. And then what's the vehicle? So if you're only going to that one elementary school, let's stick with that for the moment, then you can say, well, you engage, a kind of a co-conspirator. Who's going to be your ally and help you with this? Maybe it's a principal, a PE teacher, a teacher, a PTO leader, whatever it is, and say, okay, well, how does the families in that school like to get their information? So now you're delivering your market the way that, maybe they get a take-home flyer every other Friday or something, and you work with the school to get to them that way. Maybe they follow the school on a website for school closings, or so you find out how to market to them and just spend that money. If you get into, the problem with brand marketing, it's like, I don't put my name out there all over, you run it. So, 90% of the people that get that message aren't interested, aren't close enough, don't care. But if you can focus and really pull this in, then you can do it more cost effectively and get much higher returns.
Well, and you can also measure those results, right?
Yeah.
If you spend, let's say it's $500 to go into an elementary school in this example, and you gain 20 clients out of there, the cost per client acquisition. You spend $5,000 on a grandiose marketing plan where you got a billboard up, you got a spot on a radio show, and you can't really determine the return on investment on that stuff. You may grow, but you can't singularly target it. And I think that's the point that I know you'll make, and I think the point that everybody needs to hear is identify who it is you're going after, and market to them specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's in my case, it's college-bound families. We're constantly marketing to college-bound families. If you show up, I guarantee if you're in, high school in our area, you've gotten something from us at one time or another, or your parents have, right?
So I think a good kind of comparison from your industry, from the college-bound process, if you do a good job of calculating, so what they call it is CLV, the customer lifetime value, is what that customer is worth to you over the lifespan. So at Grand Slam, one of the things that we figured out is if we bring people into a batting cages at 5 years old, this CLV for that customer is much greater, because probably we're going to keep them hitting. In our case, it's not life. It's just fun, but we don't care what level. We care that they come back and enjoy it and have fun. But in every business, you need to do a customer lifetime value. And in elite collegiate planning, what I see is, so one of the marketing things that I see you doing is I think you do this, a free 1-hour consultation. So that's marketing, basically. It's free content. Content marketing is huge. So there's some point where you say that, that's got a cost, and you can't say it's free because you're paying somebody to do that consultation, whatever. But if that customer comes on board, and maybe the statistics for each free consultation you do, what percentage turn into customers? I don't know where that is in your case, but once you figure that out, and the customer lifetime value, then you can say, okay, this is worth it. This is a return. So is one-on-one marketing ever worth it? Sure. Yeah, it makes sense to have one-on-one conversations. I tell the people here, I'm in the speaking business. I'm in the consultation business. Speaking to a room of 100 business owners is good marketing. It makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. And you also have to consider in business, like what are the barriers to entry for a client coming into your business, right? My barriers to entry are a little bit higher than the barriers to entry to a swim school or a gymnastics club, but it's a necessary understanding that I have to engage a family to get them on the level so that we can have a productive conversation. So I do have to spend some time teaching them. I do have to give that free consultation in order to get them to where they need to be from a knowledge base so that they can make a sound decision, right? We know that gymnastics, that swimming, that youth sports are healthy habits, and biomechanically they develop far more than just physicality. They develop brain, they develop coordination, they develop all these things. So you don't have to, I think, overanalyze and over create a marketing plan at that level, right? Pick things that you know work. And an easy way to do that, an absolutely easy way to do that, is interview your client base. Interview who they are, where they go, what they do, how they shop, and find another dozen people just like them. They're the ones that want it, right?
And right now with social media and digital marketing, there's networks, there's groups out there can become vibe. This swim school industry is a huge community, a tribe in itself, and just getting in, proving. So it's the same thing with you. If you help 3 kids at a specific high school, they go there, then the word's going to spread. If you're going, if you want to go to college, here's what you want to do. Here's how to afford it. One of the advantages of your business is there's a dollar for dollar view of this. You say, yeah, I'm going to spend this money. This is what I'm going to save. So there's a dollar for dollar. It's a little tougher in the sports world because it's hopefully people aren't going into it saying, well, if I invest $1,000 in training my son, they're going to earn $1,000 for competing on a swim team. That's not going to happen. So the benefits that they get are more intrinsic, but they're bigger if you're considering, saving them from drowning or avoiding obesity or, keeping them happy and emotionally stable. And, so there's all kinds of benefits. And David, before we end, I want to get back to the 2 things I see neglected in sports business, the entrepreneur level, is sales and marketing. We talk more about marketing because people are less comfortable with sales. Yet, as salesmen, that's kind of where we always fall back, is that's where you got to get to. So the lines between sales and marketing are very much blurred today. I think it's almost all the same thing. But if you go to the before, during, and after, it's pull them in, lock them in, and then keep them. And before, during, and after marketing. And it's that message that you give them, later, before. But that's all your marketing, story is an elevator pitch. How can you how you're solving that one problem, that quick, concise story that will have an emotional effect on the listener.
Yeah, without question, no doubt about it.
So I think, maybe in an upcoming podcast, we dig into the sales side, which I think is more just the verbal communication of what happens or the follow-up to it. But we can dig into the sales portion of this. But and maybe we'll come together next week. I can do a little recap of how this goes this afternoon. I'm excited about this presentation. It's a little bit different audience, but I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, love it. And obviously, go knock them dead. It's what we do. So I think they're going to learn a lot, and it'll be a beneficial event. No questions asked. We'll wrap it up there, Steve. I know you gotta get to your location so you can present. If you enjoyed this, guys, please subscribe, share to Paradigm Playbooks podcast. And we'll catch you next week on a recap of the event and maybe some takeaways from people. And what I really would like to talk about next week is those that pulled you aside and the questions that they ask after the presentation.
Okay, we'll do it. Okay, everybody, make it a great week. We will talk to you next week.
All right, go get them, Steve.
We appreciate your feedback. If you enjoyed the podcast, please leave a review. If not, we'd still love to hear from you so we can improve.